Hey, all, this is Keith, and welcome back to the Common Sense Practical Prepper podcast, September 4th, 2025. Again, coming to you from our affiliate office in Berlin, Germany. So I want to talk about communications, and specifically satellite communications, when we're in the middle of a critical SHTF situation. Cell towers are down, your phone is basically a paperweight, hurricane, EMP, grid down chaos, whatever it happens to be, and you need to stay in contact with your family or you need to call for help. We're going to talk about the Garmin inReach Mini 2, a device that I've had for a little over a year. I've tested it on the trail. I have tested it here in Berlin. And I believe, at least for me and my needs, it's the device that satisfies my current requirements. My family members also have this same device. All right, here's the scenario. Major storm wipes out power, cell service is down across the region, phone's not working, no cell service, and you're 50 miles from home. You need to be able to contact your family and hopefully tell them you're safe and provide them guidance. Okay, I'm safe. Starting home, should be there by noon, or are you safe? Whatever the message happens to be, and we'll get into the messages here in a second. So it basically works off the Iridium satellite network. It's a global network, so there are no blind spots, there are no dead areas. Now you might ask about GMRS radios, handheld ham radios. Those types of radios certainly have a role, but for this situation, you're going to be too far for line of sight. Power's out, repeaters are down, so handheld ham radios are not going to work. So with satellite communications like the inReach Mini 2, it's a tiny device, about 3.5 ounces, fits in your pocket. Again, it's on the Iridium satellite network. You can share your location, text messages, or trigger an SOS anywhere in the world. It's pretty rugged. It's water resistant, not waterproof. And it's got like the case around it. It's kind of like a hard rubber case, and the buttons are protected underneath this rubber case, and it's not that difficult to use. However, being so small and compact, that's fantastic. But the downside to that is if you have fat fingers like me, it can be a little difficult to navigate the menu and get some of your text messages in. So when you get your device, set the whole thing up beforehand. Okay, there are different types of monthly subscriptions. The monthly subscription I have is I think it's $12 a month, and that gives you 50 text messages through the device, and those can be shared through text messages, email. There's several different ways that you can share the message that you need to provide. And another cool thing about it is with the other family members that have that, if they have the same plan, they have 50 text messages. There's a cool thing about the Messenger app. So again, if you have fat fingers like me, using the app on the phone, like a lot of other devices, it's much easier to program through your phone than it is to try to look at the little screen on the device. Again, it's small, so it's meant to be compact. It is very versatile, but that is one of the downsides to it. There are other subscriptions, different tiers. I'm sure, there's more expensive tiers that provide additional text messages, but I just have the basic $12 a month, 50 text messages. There's a map share feature. So basically what it does is you can have it send your location every 10 minutes, every 30 minutes, every hour, every 2 hours. So there's several different options. It has a great battery life, but the more times per hour that you send an interval, it's going to use more battery. However, so just like sitting there by itself, it's going to last about 14 days. It'll last about 5 days if it's on the entire time and you're sending your location out every 10 minutes. Now, I used it I've used it on the trail when I've been hiking the Appalachian Trail. I've used it here in Berlin a couple times just to kind of put it through its paces. And when I was done hiking and I was done walking around here in Berlin, I go ahead and stop it on the phone, stop the tracking, and then I can actually pull up a map and have it load the waypoints and actually load the path that I've been either hiking or in this instance this week, walking. And on the phone app, you just kind of zoom in, and the more you zoom in, it ends up kind of like a Google Earth type of overlay, and you can actually see the streets, and it is very accurate. Now, obviously, you go inside a building for a significant amount of time, it's not going to be able to ping the satellites, but as long as there's clear view to the sky, if it gets a little cloudy, it might affect it some, but here in Berlin, I'm between a lot of tall buildings, as I'm walking, so it could affect it a little bit. But if you're out in the open, you're gonna be in good shape, and it's gonna be very, very accurate. Like I said, the battery is fantastic. And let's talk about the SOS feature. The great thing about the SOS feature is if you are in a really bad situation and you need to activate SOS, you need to call for assistance. You activate the SOS, it connects you with Garmin's like 24/7 emergency response team or whatever they call it, and they will coordinate with local search and rescue, law enforcement, and they will come get you. If you're hiking and you've broken a leg, you've broken an arm, and you can't continue, they'll have your exact location and they're going to come get you. They'll airlift you out, whatever the situation is, they're going to come and get you. So there's a bunch of preset messages. And again, when you set up the preset messages before an SHTF situation, and you can set them up like if I was hiking and I got to my camp, I would send the preset message to whoever in my contacts I need to send it to, safe at camp. And let's say I had a preset message the next morning, leaving camp. Those can be very, very simple. Now, if you didn't want to activate an SOS, you could put in a preset message, need help at the cabin, need help behind the shopping center, power out, meet at cabin. So you can have several of those, and those can be changed all the time depending on the situation. If you don't have a cabin, you can change it to something different. If for some reason your situation changes and some of the preset messages don't quite make sense, you just go into the app, which is much easier to program through the app, and you just go ahead and change them that way. So basically, you can also share all of that. You share the map. You can also backtrack with the map. So if you're hiking and you're going along, and let's say you get lost, you're not paying attention, and you realize that you're off the trail, then you have a situation of basically looking at the map and then just walking it backwards. Just turn around, zoom in, and it's going to walk you back. Let's say I was here in Berlin and I went too many blocks. I went like 6 blocks too far and I took a left. And I finally realized it. I could pull up the map and basically I just turned around and I followed the little blue line backwards the way I came, and it's going to go ahead and get me back to where I need to be. Now, with any technology, Garmin probably has already come out with something that's bigger and better and probably more expensive than the inReach Mini 2. I happen to be attending a tech conference tomorrow here in Berlin. It's IFA, Innovation for All. Garmin's going to be there, and I did read that they now have a smartwatch that does all of the things that the Garmin messenger devices, the inReach, the Mini inReach, the Mini inReach 2, they all do that. And it's going to be compact into a smartwatch. And I'm going to assume that the app is compatible as well. I also heard it was about $2,000, which leaves that way, way, way out of my price range. The inReach Mini 2, Amazon, REI, any other outdoor website. When I purchased mine, I believe it was about $350. But as new versions of these devices come out, the price of the older versions will eventually drop down. So again, this is something that suits my current needs may not be for everybody, but I think it's important to have something, because if you're 20 miles away, 5 miles away, and you're not able to make it home because of an SHTF situation, and the cell service is down, you don't know if your family is safe. They don't know if you're safe. If you have no way of getting reliable communication set up and providing them current information on where you are and what you need to do, that could be a problem. You're not going to be able to say, hey, meet at the cabin, or get the bug out bags, I'll be home in 30 minutes. You're not going to be able to provide that. Now, it might seem like a little overkill, but remember, a lot of what I do prepping wise is peace of mind. Now, this device has been sitting near my bug out bag for probably 320 of the last 365 days, but I know I've got it. And $12 a month may be a lot of money for some folks. So it's maybe a Starbucks and a half. I don't drink Starbucks, so I'm not sure how much a Starbucks is. But to me, peace of mind, you really can't put a price on it. So $12 a month, to me, given my situation and how I prep, is money well spent. All right, folks, thanks for listening. If you need to get a hold of me, practicalpreppodcast@gmail.com. Going to the Cool Tech Show. Maybe I'll take some photos of that new Garmin device and try to get some information on it. Don't forget, I'll be going to Prepper Camp 26th, 7th, and 8th, I believe, of September. And again, thanks so much, folks. And as always, be safe out there, take care of one another, and until next time.